Hello, welcome to today's Clarity Reset. I am here with Evelyn today, and we are going to get weird. We're going to talk about the weird idea. And what I mean by that is it's something that you keep talking yourself out of. If it shows up, you entertain it for a second, you maybe find some humor in it, or you find some well, that's just interesting. But then you find a reason to put it right back down. And so today, we're not going to put it back down. We're actually just going to play with it for a second. It doesn't, we're not going to necessarily decide if it's realistic or practical or something that other people even want or even understand. We're really just going to give it some honest attention and see where it goes, see what's actually there. So we're going to start with a grounding exercise. So I invite you to get cozy in your chair and to close your eyes or soften your gaze so that you're not focusing on anything in particular. And bring your attention to your breath, just moving in and out. Take a few breaths together. So, a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. Now I want you to shrug your shoulders really high up to your ears, really tense them, and then roll them back and around. Make this a really exaggerated move. Get the spaces between your shoulder blades stretched out. And really stretch out your shoulders. I've been carrying a lot of stress here lately, and sometimes I think we just need to release it. So once you've done a little bit of that, you can rest your shoulders down, rest your arms and hands somewhere where they feel supported, and maybe move your neck a little bit. Maybe roll it. If you have any tension going on there, take care of that too while we're at it. And then once you've done that, just kind of settle back into your body again. And notice if there are any other places in your body that are feeling some tension or tightness, somewhere that you might be carrying some stress or some just energy. If you feel like you need to shift to get comfortable, that's fine. Work it out. And now I invite you to just focus on your breath moving in and out, nothing else. If your mind moves to something other than the way the air feels moving in and out of your body, bring your attention right back to it. Notice the sensation when the air moves into your nose. Maybe it feels a little cooler, like in your nostrils. Maybe you can feel it as it's moving through your body down into your lungs. Notice the way that your chest expands when you breathe the air in and contracts when you breathe it out. And if you start to think of anything other than your breath, bring your attention right back to it. You can concentrate on just your nose, just your nostrils. Just concentrate on that area, the way it feels with the air moving in and out. It's such a slight sensation, that we don't think about as we breathe when we do it all day long. But when you pay attention to it, you can feel it happening. And that's an interesting place to spend a little time. Think about all the places in your body that have these little movements like this, that have these little sensations that we don't think about as they're going on. Maybe your heartbeat, maybe the way you shift here and there. All these movements that we make subconsciously, the way our bodies operate without us having to think about it. Just spend a few more moments thinking about those things. And now we'll take a few more breaths together. So, a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the room, grab your journal. First thing that I want for you to do is brain dump. For the next 2 minutes, whatever pops into your head, you write it down. Doesn't matter what it is, total nonsense, just fine. If you don't know what to write, just write any word at all and keep writing that word over and over until the next word comes and write that one down. If you have a thought that pops in your head, write it down. You're never going to use this again. You're never going to look at it. The point is to keep writing for this entire 2 minutes. And we have about a minute and a half left. Just keep writing. This part of the exercise really helps to clear out any fragmented thoughts, especially if you have a mind that kind of races all over the place and can be in several different places at one time. This will get some of that out of onto paper and out of the way so that when we start working on our journal prompts, we don't have to move through all of that chaos. We've already gotten that out of the way and we can get down to the real deal. We got about 40 seconds left, so just keep going. All right. So, the first question that you're going to answer in your journal, what is the weird idea you keep coming back to? What is the weird idea you keep coming back to? This could be one you keep dismissing. It doesn't have to be fully formed either. Just start to write about it. Doesn't have to make any sense. Just has to be the thing that keeps showing up no matter how many times you decide it's not practical or it's not the right time or it's not something that other people would even understand. Just be as specific as you can, even if it feels like half baked. We have 3.5 minutes left, so you have some time to explain what this idea is. What's the idea? What is it connected to? Really hash it out. Give yourself some time to think about it on paper. And here's the thing, in journaling, nobody's going to look at this. This is really just for you to explore. You're never going to share this with anybody. I mean, you can, but you probably won't, not in this form. It's really just about getting it out of your head onto paper and seeing if anything else pops up when you do. So just keep going down that path. We got 2.5 minutes left. So again, this idea does not have to be fully formed. It's just the one that keeps popping back up in your head. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it doesn't feel practical, or it doesn't feel like the timing's right, or it doesn't feel like something you can even explain to someone else. Just keep going and be as specific as you can, even if it doesn't feel fully formed. And if while you're writing something else pops up related to it, just write about that too. Just keep going, explore it, give yourself that permission. Okay, start wrapping it up. Okay, so next question. What do you tell yourself about why it won't work? What do you tell yourself about why it won't work? Why do you keep dismissing it? Every weird idea has a wall of objections around it. So name those objections honestly. You don't have to dismantle them just yet. Just write down all the objections just to see them clearly. What are the actual reasons you keep putting this thing down? Which ones are practical concerns? Which ones are fear dressed up as being practical? What do you tell yourself about why it won't work? And be specific. even if it's like nobody's going to get it. Well, why won't they get it? Like get into it, go deep. Why won't they get it? Who won't get it? Will they not get it now? Will they get it later? You know, maybe it's about timing. Why is it bad timing? Why won't it work right now because of timing? What is the timing when it would work? Just be as specific as you can. What do you tell yourself about why it won't work? We got a couple minutes left. Okay, you got a minute left. So start wrapping it up. Again, what do you tell yourself about why this weird idea won't work? There are objections built all around it, and so you want to name those objections. And so if there are any objections you haven't named yet, go ahead and write them down now. And a quick review of them. Are they practical concerns, or is this just a fear-based thing before we wrap up this prompt? Okay, so we are now going to move on to the next one. What keeps bringing this idea back? If you've dismissed it this many times and it keeps returning, something is worth paying attention to in this. So, this is about getting underneath the idea itself. What does it represent? What need, value, or direction is this idea pointing toward? What would it mean about you or your business if you actually pursued it? What keeps bringing this idea back? I'm going to give a little extra time on this one because I think that it is um, this is where the magical stuff is. And if you want to read back, even if you read back to your first prompt about what the idea is, what's the idea that you keep coming back to, feel free to go back and peruse through what you wrote and why you think it won't work. But really, the question is, what keeps bringing this idea back? Why have you dismissed it so many times? There's something there worth paying attention to. A need, a value, a direction. What would it mean about you or your business if you actually pursued it? Got a couple minutes left. So again, what keeps bringing this idea back? There's something about it. And so get underneath it, figure out what this idea represents. Maybe it represents some value that you have that you want to make sure you're putting out there somehow, or a direction that you want to go in, even if the timing doesn't feel right. What what is the need? What is the value? What is the direction that this idea is pointing toward? What would it mean for your business if you actually pursued it, or for just yourself? And start wrapping that one up. We have under a minute left. Okay. And finally, I want you to finish this sentence. The thing I would do with this idea if I knew it was allowed is blank. And write the whole sentence out, not just the answer. The thing I would do with this idea if I knew it was allowed is blank. And you don't have to filter it for being practical. You don't have to explain it to anyone. Just the honest answer about what you would actually do if the idea had full permission to exist. And by permission, it means just permission by you, permission by everything. The thing I would do with this idea if I knew it was allowed is blank. So as you're finishing this up, I will just say there is a reason when you have a weird idea. You're the one calling it weird, first off. You're the one calling it weird because you probably haven't shared it with anybody else, and nobody else is telling you it's weird, probably, is what I'm guessing. And there's a reason it keeps coming back. And so hopefully today you finally let it speak a little bit and you got to explore it a little bit. So
Okay.
I'd love to know how that went for you.
Well, it's actually something that started thinking about a couple months ago, and it involves Blue Mojo, and that's putting games inside of my classroom. So for maybe 5 minutes, or 10 minutes cannot think about cancer and just do something off the wall, you know. So
I love
that and I have an appointment with him on Friday to talk about that and see what he's gathered, and so I'm
Awesome.
I'm pursuing that one.
I love it. And I've remembered this coming up before. And I think that, honestly, on your path, you had to get more comfortable with, just the engagement with your community. And now
Yes.
you've worked through so much of that. And now you're like,
Mhm.
I'm ready to bring this next, like, really bizarre idea to the table. And I don't think it's that weird. I think
It's
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 really
not.
just thoughtful. I think it's thoughtful. I think what cancer survivors need because you are one of them. Like what could have brightened your spirit when you needed that the most.
Yeah,
And that's why it makes you the unique person who can bring exactly what people need to the table.
yeah. And I've looked through other communities with cancer, and I haven't seen that. So that's something that'll be unique to my community, which I think will be good, you know?
Do you know like the topic of the games? Like, are you thinking about it being related to cancer somehow still?
Um, I
I don't
think
know how
so.
it would, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I really have to hash it out with him, and find out what he's come up with because he asked me, and now I don't even remember what I told him. So it'll be interesting to find out what I told him and where we think it should go. And I
Yeah.
think it's going to be something that will evolve. We'll
Yeah.
start out with something, but I think as we do it, it'll evolve more and more, which will be good. I'm
Yeah.
learning I actually went on School 101 and they talked about um, how you don't have to have everything flushed out. Just start doing it and see what works and what doesn't work. It's okay, and that's that fear of failure thing. So
Mhm.
I want to try this out and see where it can take us, in
Yeah.
in our journey. Yes. So
I think it's a great idea. And it comes back to something we've been talking about a lot lately is testing, you know, dropping the perfection and just
yep.
putting things out there. And we
Yeah.
we do keep coming back to this from different angles.
Yeah.
Because
We do.
yeah, we can overthink it and think we're creating this perfect thing and then put that perfect thing out there and nobody cares. Nobody wants it. Everybody's like, "What is this?" And you still have to iterate, you
Yeah.
still have to like work on the thing. And so you may as well put the thing out there even if it's not totally complete in your head.
Yes. And my other thing was, there's actually three things. I'm thinking about puzzles, and I'm
Mm,
also thinking about crocheting because when you do crochet, it takes you out of whatever it is you're in. And so just offering things that remove people from whatever they're doing. Um, right now, the treatments, the healing and stuff like that. I think sometimes we don't. I remember during that time, I didn't think much about doing fun things or, my whole life was consumed with it. Treatments here and there. Would have been nice to. I did crochet when I was in the hospital because that's my release. So I want to find out what other things for other patients. What were their release? Was it meditation? Was it yoga? What did
mhm,
you do? And discuss all the possibilities so people say, "Oh, hey, maybe that'll work for me." So,
mhm. Yeah, like it's a brain distraction, it
yeah,
distracts you from like the heaviness of the reality going on and what you're dealing with and your fight. And it's nice to just get out of that fight mode for a minute
yeah.
and just sink into something that has nothing to do with any of that.
Yes. So I have right now I wrote down like crocheting and I remembered puzzles did a lot for me while I was in the hospital. And and I've forgotten about that. But so I don't
Mhm.
know how it'll work out, but these are the ideas that came up.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's amazing. And the other thing is that when you're doing things like this, it's good for your mind. It's good for your brain to like, even for cognitive reasons, just to
Right.
keep everything fresh. And that's something that chemo in particular really attacks your cognitive function. And
Yes.
so I don't know the science behind it, but maybe if you're doing something like puzzles or you're doing something that is keeping your cognitive abilities fresh, maybe that helps some
Yeah.
during recovery, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I love that. I love it. And
Yes.
I love that you already have the meeting with them set for this week.
Yes. I know it was we've been working on it, but then he got real busy. And so I said, "Don't worry about it. When it's a good time, let me know." And he said, "June. I'm ready now." I said, "Okay." So we set a
Awesome.
date. Yeah, I'm glad. So
Oh, that's
he's
gonna be so fun to see how this
yeah,
rolls out.
I know. I can't wait. So, okay. We did
Well,
it.
yeah, you did it, and I love that this fell, like, just in the perfect timing of what that is, and you got to
Yeah.
explore it a little more, and alright,
Yes.
cool. Well,
Okay.
I will see you in school, and I hope you
Yes.
have the best day ever.
You too.
Alright.
And remember, 6 a.m. for me is good. So,
Okay, so we might be changing the time of these then, it
yeah.
looks like next week. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Alright. Bye, dear.